Assalamu alaikum students, how are you? I hope you guys are enjoying the blessings of Ramadan. Today it is our first fast in Pakistan and it's very hot here. Still, it's a blessing of God who has given us opportunity to perform good deeds. Inshallah, may Allah bless us. So today learning never stops. So I am here again and going to explain Plato and his attack on poetry. Guys, this is one of the most famous criticism that was made by Plato on poetry. He himself was a poet. Okay, he himself was a poet. Still, he criticizes poetry, and the grounds on which he criticizes are very sound and are very logical. We are going to learn them. Before learning it, I am going to explain or introduce the Plato to you. First of all, Plato, he was born in 427 before Christ. He is very old. He was ancient Greek philosopher. He was a philosopher from ancient Greek. His main interests were ethics, okay, politics, education, literature, art, friendship, and love. I mean, he talked about ethics, politics, education, literature, art, friendship, and love. He was a genius person and multi-talented. You can understand with his areas of interest. He was very famous in ancient Greek and he was one of the fine philosophers of Greek. He wrote Republic in utopian literature. Republic is a book that is very famous and he wrote it in utopian literature. It was a very famous book. You can search it on the Google and you can totally understand the summary what was written in it. He was a great person. His notable works in accordance with literary criticism. This is our subject in literature and linguistic students used to learn it. So notable works in accordance with literary criticism, he gives poetic imitation, which I will further explain in another video lecture, not here, and attack upon poetry, that is our today's topic. These were two very famous in the area of literary criticism that was given by Plato. So we have understood who was, we have a little bit idea and I tried myself to introduce Plato in front of you. So it would be easy for you now to understand the major topic we are going to discuss. So Republic by Plato, as I have told you that Republic was one of the finest book by Plato which was very popular. It was written in utopian literature, the Greek literature, in form of dialogue with major character Socrates. So this book was in the form of dialogue. What is meant by dialogue? Where two or three or more than them people are talking with each other in the form of dialogue and writer conveys his or her message. So the major character in that dialogue was Socrates. The mainly book concerned with the question what is justice. So I am not going to further explain the Republic because we used to have short time and I have to deliver my message in maximum 14 to 15 minutes, which I try my best to concise my idea. So let's move forward straightly to the Plato's attack on poetry. Okay, first of all you need to understand that Plato was a genius. He was a great person. He was a great philosopher and his main interests were so many, like art, like philosophy, ethics, politics, so on. So he himself was a poet and he enjoys writing poetry. Even his prose are poetic. The way he delivers the prose, the way he writes prose is having the taste of verse or the poetry. I mean, he was a poetic person and he himself, criticized poetry. That is very shocking and that is very new for a person, like you're doing something and you still criticize it. So there were three basic grounds, three criteria on which he criticized poetry. One was emotional ground, intellectual grounds, and moral grounds. He criticized poetry upon these three grounds. We are going to further learn them and study them in detail. Emotional grounds. Plato writes poetry. Plato writes somewhere that poetry feeds and waters the passion instead of drying them up. Okay, first of all, before understanding this line, we need to understand the difference between philosophy and poetry. Okay, philosophy concerned with logic and not with the appearance of things, but with the depth of things, with the logic, with rationality, with what is right, with brain, you can say. And poetry deals with heart and the appearance of things and the ambiguity, and there is a opposite. These two fields or these two disciplines are totally opposite to each other. So being a philosopher, Plato says poetry feeds and waters the passion. Passion is not allowed in philosophy. Reason is allowed. Reason is privileged in philosophy rather than passion or emotions. Emotions are privileged in poetry, which he thinks is wrong on the emotional grounds that the poetry is feeding the emotion and not the brain and not the logic and not the reason and logic and rationality. As Plato was a philosopher, so he has no space for irrationality and feeling of emotions, which I have explained in this line. Poets used to write what is popular in spite of the fact that it is merely irrational in relying on emotional sentiments. Poets used to write what is popular and worth selling. This is it. They write on the things which are controversial and which people will give them business. They have no concern with whether it gives positive impact to the audience or not. Poetry is not a craft but a divine knowledge, and they are often frenzy and all. I mean, it's a divine knowledge. It has no connection with like you learn it, you don't learn it, you don't give your effort to it, you don't think logically, you just try it. It's a divine knowledge. It's a spiritual knowledge, and you just think something comes into your mind and you write it down without thinking of its impact on the society or the feeling of emotion and its results on the society, its consequences in the society. You don't think about it. This is what Plato believes, not me. You are not supposed to think that your teacher is saying that. It is what Plato is saying, and Plato said in his criticism against poetry. So, emotional grounds is covered. Are you clear with me? Are you there? Okay. If anyone has any question, please ask me in the comment section. I'm always available. They invoke pity and grief. Pity and grief, these are two emotions that are mostly invoked in poetry. Pity and grief. So, being a philosopher, Plato dislikes it. And you can understand that being a logical person, he would have no space for pity and grief, but the reason and logic. Moral grounds. What do you think moral grounds would be? On moral grounds, we can say poetry is not fulfilling the moral requirements or something like that. Yes, you are totally right. I agree with you. Poetry in that era humanizes God. They somehow humanizes God and inserts them. So being a philosopher, Plato was against it. He says even in every religion it is immoral to humanize God. It is immoral to talk about gods so much boldly, so much openly. So it was considered to be immoral effect in respect of poetry. Violation of morality. So morality was violated in writing the poetry. You know what poetry is all about? Imaginations, even about physical things, about anything you can think of. And sometimes poets violate the morality of their society and they write something which is a taboo in their society, which is not allowed in their society, and which is considered to be wrong or less right in their society. So poets are the breaking the laws and morality of the society. So in this ground, Plato says it's wrong. Plato considered poetry to be immoral and unethical, as it has no positive impact on society, according to him, but damaging them by feeding them with emotions. So in his point of view, emotions are having so much emotions or feeding the emotion of your audience or the reader is immoral. It's violation of morality. Poets writes what is popular and worth selling without sorry, I made a mistake here. Your teacher makes mistake. Okay. Poets writes and what is popular and worth selling without caring about its impacts on society. A poet would write which is popular, which he sees and which his audience or reader wants to see. He speaks what could be sold, what could be sold. So in that scenario, this is immoral. In spite of the fact that poetry is admirable, okay, poetry yet is admirable, attractive, yet If it has no public benefit, it is of no use in the eyes of Plato. If it is not benefiting or it is not beneficial for the society, then in the eyes of Plato, it is not good. It is not beneficial, so it is not morally correct. It is not politically correct. So intellectual grounds are third ground on which Plato attacks poetry. Okay, what is meant by intellectual? Intellectual means something related with logic, with reason, with rationality. So poetry, do you think has any connection with reason or logic? No. It has the connection with feelings, with emotions, with violation of morality somehow, or writing about something out of the box. So poetry has no relation with truth, just imitation of appearance. What is meant by appearance? A poet writes what is appeared to him, and without thinking or without going into depth of it. Let's suppose this whole universe is the appearance of reality. God thinks about the world and he created it. I mean, he created a copy of reality. So be there, focus with me. This world is the copy of reality, and now you are copying the copy. This world is the copy and you are copying it. So it is twice removed from the reality. Reality was in the mind of creator. That word would be like that. He created the world. Now this world is the copy of the reality. What is reality? That is the imagination in the mind of God. So you are copying the copy, being a writer. You are not seeing the logics of things. You are just concentrating on the appearance of things. So in that scenario, it is not fulfilling the intellectual grounds. So that's why Plato dislikes and disapproves of poetry based on falsehood and unreliable knowledge. For example, in poetry we say my lover has, hairs like mountain. So it is real? It is reliable knowledge? No. They are just feeding your emotions and invoking it. Even and if we see the philosophy, it is based on the truth, not on the falsehood. This is the difference, and that's why the Plato is criticizing poetry. He strengthens his argument by saying philosophy, Plato, strengthens his argument by saying philosophy sees the truth, yet poetry is merely focused upon appearance of things. I think there is no need to explain it further. We have understood it. So twice removed from reality, I have discussed it already. So this was all today, and if you have any question you can ask me, and keep watching my videos. Thank you. Allah Hafiz. Stay blessed. Happy Ramadan.